obviously Ireland has been part of Team UK in the past, and Denmark, having not played before. I'm curious, any thoughts from either of you for either roster here as we head into this one?
Do you want to say anything, Sod, or should I just go
Yeah,
ahead?
I mean, like, for the longest time, I've always noticed that the Irish team and the UK team were always kind of like mingled and co-joined together for as long as I can even remember. Like, even like in time trials, the top 10s, Ireland and UK are considered as one. So it's really interesting that you've got a completely different dynamic team here, but they've seemed to be able to make a name for themselves from what I've seen. They've managed to, do quite well so far. Interesting lineup, specifically, because you've got Roy, who's also on two different teams. Am I correct in saying that? Or
if we're talking other teams, not national teams, surely no.
National, right?
Yeah, but no. Roy has been someone that, if I'm not mistaken, very comfortable with bagging. But they have one of the notable things about this Irish roster is that they have a lot of other national teams have this issue of needing, not having enough baggers or a bagger, really. Irish has plenty.
Absolutely.
So Trashy here filling in that role for them. Roy, plenty able to take that role. Sean has been the marquee standout for Ireland. Sean's been a player that's been active throughout Mario Kart Wii's history, and he's been putting up the points for Ireland here in the group stage and played in stage last weekend.
And I've also heard a few things of Dermo and his ability to run. He's quite well known familiarly for his running capabilities, I think. I'm around that one. So yeah, pretty decent Irish team. Interested to see the lineup for Denmark though, because I've heard Denmark. Yeah, Denmark have got a very interesting strategy from what I've been told from many people in these.
Yeah. That is the all-run strat, which I'm not sure how...
Yeah, no designated bagger, from what I've heard. All-run can absolutely work, but I feel like everybody then needs to have some kind of ideology on how to counter the shock play, because the problem is, if you allow the other team to just sit out back and get the shocks, they can just completely turn the tides of every race in their favor if they so choose, especially considering even the most front-runnable front-run tracks. As we just saw in UK versus Germany, it can all change just like that. So I'm foreseeing possibly they will try the all-run strat, and then as it goes on, they might realize, depending on how Ireland play with the shocks and how they play with that element, whether they need to adapt mid-game and suddenly possibly try to counter that. Because I think if they are able to get most of the lightnings and coordinate the dodges, they might just run away with it, which would be really tragic considering the Denmark lineup's strong. Got some really strong runners there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you see, with Denmark see Ireland winning completely on the shock, then, like you said, they're going to have to, make that decision whether they keep going with the all-run or whether they actually try and counter Ireland shocks. And they need to make sure they don't fall too far behind either before they make that decision.
Yeah.
That's going to be the main... strategy point for Denmark here. And although that being said, Denmark do have 5 capable runners for sure. Out of everyone who they have, I can't see a single bad player in that lineup, so to speak.
Yeah, no, you talk about Chéron, Kasper, Yasu. These are players that are pretty notable. Bob comes in, for what it's worth, compared to their lineup yesterday. Ice had been kind of the player. We'll be seeing Yasu as one of the perspectives for this Denmark roster, as he will be the roster we see, or the perspective we see, as well as we'll be alternating between them and either Sean or LT, so on the Irish side. So we'll be seeing them. But Bob, I will note, I'm actually not too sure on the background on them. I do know that they have fun karting and mogies, but I don't think that's something they would do for a match here. I'm not sure. We'll see how that turns out. But Denmark, one thing to note here is about all run is something that Syke, one of our casters yesterday, also known as Barry, very familiar with all run, and there is a very particular strategy required for it. course selection, in how you conduct yourselves at the first box even. The strategy of like wall run typically requiring two players to kind of hang back and force players from the opposing side to either choose to go ahead and not get the you know, power items they would like to get. They're kind of forced to get boxes in 6 or above, or they are forced to wait behind with them while they have, you know, only 4 compared to the other team's 5 runners. So there's a lot of, you know, very detailed elements to the all-run strategy that, from what we've seen from Denmark so far, they haven't pulled exactly to a T yet, at least in course selection. But still, very, very much looking forward to seeing if Denmark can pull this off. They practice a good bit with it. We'll see if they can soar off to new heights here, which, for what it's worth, they are 0-2 in their respective group. So the chance still remains for there to be a 3-way tie in Group B, but looking at it, doesn't seem to be the most likely here, as Denmark has to play US West later on. So for Denmark here, they kind of have to play a role of how much can they mess with Ireland here on their kind of last stand.
I have a comment about Bob that I can carry on from that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
Bob actually, as everybody knows, is a very well-known kart main. In Lounge, played a lot of kart, had like the kart exception, one of the best karts there was. And from his own experience, in his own words, doesn't really think that karts can compete with bikes, especially in a clan setting like this where you've got so many items swinging left, right, and center. The kart just doesn't have the maneuverability to be able to avoid basic traps, like a trap in the line of a corner, like a banana around a blind turn for the Bowser bike, where you can just kind of go wide. The kart has to almost go double wide just to avoid it. Wheelie bumps exist with karts as well, so like you can have your drift cancelled if people are shrooming and you get bumped into whilst you're in a drift. That just completely kill you. So I have been aware that Bob has actually been playing with bikes for a while. He actually switched over to bikes in Lounge.
Yeah.
So he's been doing well. Like I wouldn't count him out. Like he definitely has more kart prowess for sure, and it's a shame that we won't get to see that, because I know for sure I would absolutely love to watch.
Imagine that.
Can you imagine like a Rainbow Road selection where he's just in first, he pulls like triple shroom's first box, gets to the front, and he just does a time trial, whereas everybody else is just miles behind. But yeah, it's interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, like you said, I don't think the stakes are too drastically high because they're already in a bit of a pickle as it is, but it's definitely in their best interest to kind of soften the blow, give themselves a bit more of a fighting chance in this one.
I think for Denmark, it's not much, you know, of a. They do have something of a chance, but it's very up in the air for them. Still, though, it is possible. On the other side, though, for Ireland, very important. This along with their match against Latin America later today. You know, Ireland versus Denmark. These are the bottom 2 seeds of the group. This is one that Ireland, on paper, have the most chance of winning compared to their other matches against the other teams, and they have a shot. I mean, they performed the best in the play-in stage, beating Finland and having a better record than even Italy in you know, point difference average. So for them, they have a real shot here coming out and maybe squeaking in as a play-in team that moves on. We haven't seen any of the play-in teams here win a single match so far. So for them, they are actually in the best seat to be able to do that right now. And not only that, move in and maybe advance to the bracket. So today is very big for them. We'll see if they can pull it off against Denmark here to start this one off, which is basically required for them to have a chance to move into the bracket stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, we do have some waiting time here for Ireland to get in. I know that they are basically exhausting their resources to delay this match as much as possible. So we are still waiting on players to be joining and finalizing the room. And on that note, I think we'll take a quick 3-minute break to let them join the room and do what they can to do, because they're just going to be delaying it for a while. So when we come back, that match will be started, action will be started. Ireland will be starting their hopes at a bracket run today. Don't go away. Ireland and Denmark to resume just after this break. And you will have to excuse us, excuse me, you'll have to excuse us, everyone. This match seems to have started. Might have snuck under our noses for a second.
Started without us?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No notice. We saw just messages of 7 in room, you know, why is VR down? Oh, it's unfortunate. But either way, it's Denmark here, third lap. N64BC is their first race. Shock is going to come in. We have Denmark on top 2, but exactly what we were talking about on the pre-show for this. Ireland is going to be the one to get shots.
Looks like Roy dodging up, coming up in a mega. Doesn't manage to connect with Yasu, although leaves Roy and LT in top 2 pretty comfortably.
We'll see if they can come back at the very end here. Oh, they have bananas. Perfect sniping attempt.
Knives come out.
No.
He misses. He connects with himself.
I think he still gets away. Okay. 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that could have been a little bit worse in a race where the opposing team is getting top 2 and you're getting 3, 4. Getting 3, 4, 6 instead of 3, 4, 5 makes all the difference. Either way, that is going to be, I believe, a 28-point race for them as we move into our next races here. A little bit of frame drops from what I'm seeing, but either way, Denmark still not losing too much on that race.
I need to ask you about that lap 2 because I don't know about you, but that team play from Denmark on lap 2, especially on the spiral, like fantastic.
I did not even see it. So if you
did not see that either. That really caught me off guard.
No, I didn't see it. Yeah.
For me, it showed up, and like apparently through my microphone, it was just awful. Whatever.
Okay, no, about your mic, that was my mistake. That wasn't actually coming through your mic.
Okay.
That was just me having the player open, and it was that loud, and it startled me.
Okay. So, if I'd found a way to make the game feed my microphone, I'd call myself a wizard. We're going into race 2. So race 1, I imagine it was a lot of fun, probably pretty hype. You only got to see the final lap, but the ending play almost made a massive comeback there with the banana snipe, but unfortunately just a little too late. Good attempt though, but not too detrimental, right? Because you said what? It was what, top 2?
Top 2-6 for Ireland. I know they got 10th as they were going for Shark.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's going to be interesting to see Denmark's running strategy here.
Yeah, I think it's we don't get to see it because of the Japanese, but from my end, I see it. It's Koopa Cape coming out.
Koopa Cape. Yep. Okay.
Start this off.
So we have Ireland starting in top 2. Definitely, like, if they can break away early on, maybe 1 or 2 of them taking the Shroomba, they will have a pretty comfortable run. Although Yasu is going for the draft, gets the wall clip. Still manages to keep just behind top 3 here.
Now, we do see, seems like Denmark shrooming on through. We see Bob, of course, not in the cart, not today. He'll be shrooming through the grass, unfortunately, for our entertainment purposes. But for Denmark, they're going to be able to take a top spot here, and actually, no, 5th place.
TC coming in from Chéron does pass it off to Roy, though. Roy taking that TC early on, allowing the other people around him to kind of break away. On the only real frontal presence here for Ireland, with I believe that's Kasper up top.
Yeah.
Yep, Kasper in first, holding that down for them. Yasu does shroom up.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate though, wasn't able to pass him up. Can't really afford to take that risk, just going to get blindly redded. Misses a box as well in 3rd, which is...
Yeah, Sean just completely holding him hostage with that red. Kasper does seemingly miss the shroom, but and what happened to Yasu?
Yeah. Unfortunate there. Looked like a misinput. You get a bit of rear view spam there just to signify that the player is frustrated. It was a mistake. I've actually learned that the rear view spam is commonly used by people that don't use mic as a way to vent like misplay mistakes.
It's actually not a technical move, it turns out.
No.
You know?
I thought it was manipulating the item boxes, but apparently no, it's like honking a horn.
Oh my goodness, that's...
LT hit by the red and then just sent careening straight into the zapper, pulls a star, It's looking like Ireland will get the shot unless Denmark's player already cheats.
That actually might have helped LT more than anything. We'll see here. Yeah,
Maybe.
That's going to be... Oh, and CKV is able to call that out with a star of their own. Doesn't connect the triple res.
Really solid prediction, although kind of obvious shock. Does connect with the red.
Oh my goodness. Does that... I don't know who that red
Hitting
hit.
3 Denmark members with his reds.
Okay, nice.
Huge play from LT there. Sean's still holding down first. Ireland are gonna really need that first, like almost every race to just make sure they're able to stay up there. Like with one less runner, it's gonna be a lot harder for them.
It will be. We hope to see maybe Yasu catch up, although it doesn't seem like that will likely be the case here. I think
praying for that third place Shroom. Not gonna. Although that's from Sean, but from Yasu, yeah.
Yeah, LT here probably gonna stick in fourth. That's a 1-3-4.
Sean takes home first. Yeah, 1-3-4. Did see CKV sneaking in second there. What else? What were the other spots? 1-3-4, 8-10 for Ireland.
Yeah, solid.
And another good race.
Had a really unfortunate circumstance, lap 2 with DK there. They had top 2, it was going fantastic. Their player in first failed the Shrumba, I did see. So he had to drive slow through the grass, and then he obviously had Yasu's controller misinput where he drove off the track. Kind of unfortunate because Cooper Cape allows you to pull items mid-pack to like Goldens and Triple Streams to catch up. So if you're running, you really need to just keep that run and not make those kinds of errors. So it's unfortunate. It's still early on.
In fact, that the Shrumba that we were talking about, I think they might have even dodged. We saw them after the Lightning Bolt, still a regular-sized Funky Kong that seemed to maybe chained a Mega or something into the first item set or something along those lines. Not quite sure, but it doesn't really turn out in their favor either way. We will be moving on to the third race. Denmark not doing too horribly bad, still managing to like still keep in it and have at least one top spot after the shocks, but you'll see them going. I like this, the shorter track selection potentially here.
MC3 from Denmark.
Yeah.
Short track will definitely benefit them a lot because if there's less time for a shark, there's less time for Ireland to like really exploit their main advantage over Denmark here.
But at the same token, though, if you've got short tracks where there's lots of off-road cuts and lots of potential for a shock, if they do get the shock, the all-run strategy, though, it's kind of risky. They're going to rely solely on where the shock happens, whether they get shocked into a box or not, what they pull after the shock, and that's not something you really want to gamble, I feel like. So it could potentially be in their best interests to have the longer, more front-running tracks.
Ooh.
What's going on over here? Gonna examine the oil slip on the left with a single green in 7th.
I think maybe the one thing that goes in their favor for the shock here is that because it is shorter, it's Mario Circuit 3. Let's not kid anyone. It's a little bit more predictable, at least in comparison to other maybe longer tracks with multiple opportunities on a given lap. But we'll see here, Ireland with triple res in 7th. We see her start. Shock does come in, a Bill and a star dodge, nicely done on their part. I think they figure, yeah, we're going to get shocked, so might as well just use it, and we have a good shot at getting another one lap 3.
I'll say they have a lot of, like, not a lot of time, but like a decent amount of time to get a second one. If LT can get the Bill here as well, that'll really help Trashy. Doesn't get the Bill, although Trashy's like essentially got a free box in 10th, maybe like after the last set. Ireland can get their dodge it, then
yeah,
there's the Bill, like you said. Yasu and a star, fantastic.
That's Denmark in top 3 as well.
That is, yeah, fantastic. Someone got blued. I didn't get to see which team it was. It might have been Ireland, potentially, after the dodge.
Yeah.
And they got first and got blued. Which is, like I said, like, comes down to it.
It looks like that lap 2 shock didn't turn out in their favor. They weren't able to get a last one there. That shock was used at 57 seconds, and they ended these top players here at 131, so they barely had any opportunity. Yeah, it might have been a little bit too late there. Denmark take advantage of that with a 1-3-4-5. Wow, job well done on them for being able to stick it up there.
If I'm honest, it looked like the shock was an afterthought, because I think from what I remember, the player used the star because of a red that was being thrown back. They had to impulsively use the star. So at that point, they must have just gone, all right, call it. And then Dermo activated his Bill. He was in the star, and they just went for it because they didn't want to risk falling behind more. So I feel like they probably wanted to use that shock a little later, but due to having to get the that player to activate because of the back red kind of changed the game plan a little bit, which unfortunately didn't work out too well for them.
Yeah, that shot theoretically should have worked out for them, although kind of like you said, may have been just a bit of an impulsive call, a bit rushed on Island's end there. Weren't able to keep in top spots that they gained from the shock dodge either.
The problem with it being so early is like on a track like Mario Circuit 3, if the opposing team gets shrunk, they've still got plenty of boxes. There's like 3 sets where they can pull trip shrooms, goldens. There's so much cut opportunity. So I feel like the better play possibly would have been to delay it to the next set. Even though it being a bit more predictable, they may have been able to, you know, make it work in their favor.
Right.
Going into BC though, which is the polar opposite of a track from SE3.
Yeah. I think that would have been Denmark's pick. I can't imagine Ireland would have picked this for their bottom spots.
Yeah.
Not sure if there's anyone who's going to be pulling off the shortcut on this one as opposed to the previous lineup that we just had, where we had, you know, the German Daisy Mark player that definitely went for it.
Doesn't seem like it from, at least if there is anyone, no one's going to be able to block it here. Top 3 is kind of taken off.
No one seemed concerned about anyone taking it. LT is going to have to try and break away, back spam at every possible opportunity.
Yeah.
Wall hit from Yasu, allowing the few spots ahead of him to just like get a slight edge. Dermo gets hit by something. A blue comes out early on LT.
Yeah, looks like we will
hits
have...
Chéron as well, though.
Oh, that is not what we like to see. But follows up with the triple greens, nice.
Ooh, the bomb!
Oh wow, okay, you were...
That was a surprise.
You were like half a second ahead of me. That definitely catching Yasu off guard there.
Oh.
And whoa,
the run cheese coming into play in Denmark's favor here, getting that shock in 9.
So this is what the Denmark team are going to pry on, I want to say, because they've got the whole all-run strategy. They're going to rely on these exchanges of pulling the lightning in 9th when Trashy from the Irish team is in 10th, sitting in boxes, potentially pulling the bill.
Yeah.
It's huge for them, though. I can see we've got what, Denmark in 6 and 8, as well as shock in 9th.
Yeah.
I'm wondering potentially the CKV is holding on to something.
He's definitely holding a dodge. He hasn't used anything yet. LT has this bill. He's probably going to have to predict the target shock on Ireland's top spot.
Yeah,
if that happens, it's coming in very soon, right about now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Doesn't use his bill. That's all of Denmark dodge.
Oh, wow. Just look back just a second too late there. We'll see how it...
Maybe even using the bill early to prevent shock from Denmark would have been the play there. Doesn't make anything out of it, though. Ireland's still holding top 2 out of this. Yasu gets hit by red. Chéron gets hit by something else.
What happened? They dodged so many things, but still not able to get on. If they still have top 2, I'll be so surprised. But
I believe Ireland have top 2.
Yeah, this doesn't seem to work too well in DK's favour, unfortunately. I don't know whether the 2 that dodged had an unfortunate circumstance. Maybe they're up there, but Yasu definitely got the short end of the stick on that one, it seems. Unable to pull an item in 7th at the end, and then the blind green at the end.
Could have, and maybe should have been a lot better for the Denmark side, I believe.
Yeah, Ireland. Ireland's still getting a +3 race out of that as well. Really solid GP from them. Barely edging. Well, was it a close GP? I can't really tell just by looking at the scores.
I think Denmark getting 114. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to double check that one myself. But if that's the case, it is a 16-point difference between the two teams. Again, we'll try getting some confirmation. It might be 124 to 120 instead.
It's definitely close.
No, yeah, Denmark actually ahead 124 to, okay, yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, so 120 to 124, still a very close match we have between the two teams here. And for Denmark, that Mario Circuit race, that MC3 race was just being so huge for them.
Yeah, they needed that one. It's a shame about BC. I think the 2 Danish players that got up top were the 2 that dodged, because I recognise both their names. It was CKV and Kasper, but unfortunately the other 3, they had the extra player for the run. They had the shock, but it just didn't seem to work out for them. So fingers crossed that they can manage to make that comeback.
Yeah. we will see what this comeback can look like starting in the second Grand Prix, of course. We'll see the course selections coming out from at least the Irish side.
2 of the 3 BCs have gone, am I right? I think it was BC 64 was the first one.
Yep.
2 of the Bowser Castles have been eliminated from the track selection. You see Dry Ruins coming out here from Denmark. They're gonna have to like opt to run, like just outrun IRE here. Obviously, starting with the odd spots, Denmark, starting in first, getting a pretty nice line for that first turn. Just gotta make sure the too far from Ireland don't like sneak past them. It's gonna be an interesting one here. You see a few people taking Sandhop, Yasu failing it, although Chéron making it and taking out Sean.
Nice.
An early top 2 for Denmark, top 2-4.
2-4-5 even, maybe top 3 now. CKV getting the draft on them. CKV, of course, being formerly mainly known as Denmark, but of course having the tag DK Denmark might be a little bit redundant, so opting to choose CKV instead. He's going to be able to rep them into 3rd place. No triple shrooms. That would have been the fortunate pull for LT here, but we'll see how the rest of the roster does here. Of course, we don't see Yasu over here. What we do see is, LT and Omega, well, able to hold it. Oh, random green comes out for them, and Yasu in the meantime.
Oh, where did that green come from? Yasu holding the blue, kind of going to fall behind unless he's able to like chug this out early on.
Well, they have the extra player, so this isn't actually too bad. They've got 4 runners up there with him holding the blue, so if they can actually get that top 3 like they've got right now and manage to hold that, him holding the blue is fine because it's a winning race. Is that all they need?
I don't know if any of you guys saw, but Bob somehow ended up in the cactus on the right before the before the cave section. I'm not too sure what happened to him.
Just felt like exploring it, I'd say. I'm more interested in what's going on with the Mega. Like, what do you reckon?
There has to be something.
Oh,
okay, well, Bill does come out. Who was that from? It's probably in Ireland, right? Yeah, Sean going to be coming out with the Bill.
Ireland dodging a Bill
TC
and
though.
Mega.
That's a
worst.
TC. And the
That is
Narrowly
unfortunate.
evaded, but yeah, possibly the worst pull that he could have gotten. Oh, and it gets past to him. Wow.
No, that is not something you like seeing, especially with Sean. I don't know what happened to Sean, but they just didn't get the right line or something. I don't know, but Dermo now in 3rd place, all of Denmark in the middle spot.
It's going to be a really good race for Denmark here. We see, I couldn't tell who that was billing up. Roy getting redded and cut.
Oh, that red is huge on Roy, I think.
That is a really bad race for Ireland.
Yeah, that was huge for DK because Sean fell back even more spots because that allowed Kasper to pull 6th out of that. So the extra points there really definitely matter.
That's a 43-18 point race for Denmark, and they are dominating in a tournament that they've struggled to do anything like this. They've, I think, always been trailing for the most part. So coming out huge here.
You pull a Mega in 5th, your teammate gets the Bill, you get the shot, you got happy smiles on your faces, you coordinate a dodge, and your Bill dodger gets dropped into a set in 4th and pulls a TC when there's no one else other than his own teammate around him. It's just, sometimes it feels like the game's just not given in those kind of situations, but they have to make sure to not allow that to affect their mentality too much. Just need to shake it off. Yeah, it's still very early stages.
I think
got what?
Yeah, we have what, like
seven
races left. 7 races. Ireland on the back foot, however, not looking too good for them. Getting the shocks, but not really making much out of them, and then still getting punished after using them. It's gonna be. I feel like Ireland are letting Denmark break away too easily. Like, they need to have at least 2 players up there to be able to challenge Denmark's 5 runners.
Yeah. This is going to be really big for Denmark as well. Move You Highway, as we saw on the previous event that we were involved in, like just pure running track. Amazing first pull. But
very nice, Mega.
I think he just forgot. Forgot. You can't beat the truck. You can beat the other cars, but not the truck.
Yeah, the trucks win that exchange, unfortunately. Very unfortunate Mega usage. I'm wondering if he wanted to possibly get up there, potentially get a draft, possibly lag a bomb car, but I don't know. I feel like holding that would have been the better play because they've got a lot of people out back. You've got DK at the front. You got 1, 2, 3 from DK.
So, yeah, one thing I do want to talk about is the shock usage on the DDR. And maybe commenting on, we're seeing MC3, right? That lap 2 shock. Ooh, another car run into a bomb and narrowly avoiding that one.
Early shock for Ireland.
You know what? Fine, so be it. Like that, they just need to be in the front.
First in a bill. Sean's in first in a bill. Someone behind them, I think, in a star. Yeah, there you go. Like they need that.
I think you compare that shock to the MC3 shock, miles ahead difference because it's just the different tracks. Comparing the lap 2 shock to MC3, where you can easily get taken out holding top 2 going into lap 3, whereas Moonview Highway, so easy to hold those top spots. I think that was definitely the right call there. I mean, I was worried for a second that from that last shock we saw, that they would again do something maybe with a mistimed shock, that DDR shock. They could have used it as a target shock top 2 in the sand maybe, or use it later, but instead doing something early that didn't go in their favor. Either way, lap 3. Let's see what happens.
So we've got...
Shock will be available for Ireland. They're like guaranteed to get it if anyone does.
Bill not being too useful though here, right?
Yeah, but Bill isn't great for the latter half of this track because of like just the sheer amount of boost panels. Kasper and a star are probably going to prevent Ireland from using a shock.
Yeah.
They can't really make anything out of it either, like if they have one.
Still too little too late at this point. It all comes down to how much damage Sean was able to do in the build and if anyone else from Ireland was up there, but unfortunately...
Still holds on. Okay.
Yeah.
Barely.
Good shock to allow Sean to break that top 3 because they can't let Denmark run away with this. They just can't, but unfortunately...
That shock was really well used by Ireland, I'd say. Like, they used that probably to the fullest extent. Although... It kind of just left them hanging, like without any other drive to break the top spots for the rest of the race.
Yeah,
I'm thinking in my head that mega use lap 1 because it was an Ireland shock and we were watching an Ireland perspective and he had a mega first set and he used it immediately. I'm wondering if he had that mega, it would have been him dodging in the mega as well as his teammate in the bill, and that top 2 might have been able to make all the difference.
We'll see what the course selections are coming in. I think Ireland is picking Mushroom Gorge from what I'm seeing, so Denmark.
Where would you go if you were Denmark for this one, Ira?
1-5, not very good positions to have.
No.
You could, I think maybe just something random at that point. Maybe like a luck track or something that you can feel comfortable like running on.
Mario
or something.
Circuit?
Yeah.
Maybe Mario Circuit, something like that, possibly?
I love some Mario Circuit. It's going to be... I think it was only Yasu on his team that chose that track. Can't quite make out what
I think
track
it is.
they
I
did
think it
choose.
is Marius. Oh, no, it isn't. It's going to be Toad's Factory instead.
No, okay.
Yeah, interesting.
I was going to potentially suggest this one because first on this track has to opt whether to go for the box or not, and then second can make the decision whether to go tight or not based on this. If first opts to not get the box and second gets the box, they can just take first out. It looked like Sean went for the box as well, so this pack is really clustered right now. DK getting the lead straight away, top 3 from what I can see already. So not looking good for Ireland because you need...
We'll see if Ireland's able to recover soon. But phone call. Let's turn that off.
Chéron was able to do some work with the Thundercloud at the beginning, just swerving around, stopping Ireland players from getting into the top 2. So it's going to be Yasu running pretty uninterrupted here by the looks of things. Obviously, Ireland are in the more favourable position to get a shock. No sign of it yet from Trashy, though.
You've got Ireland taking up 4, 5, 6, 7 almost, so they're going to need some kind of shot play. You've got Chéron in 8th, so yeah, you've got DK all up there, Bob's up there. So that DK have a top 4, as you're used to seeing on TF here. I don't know what the...
They'll almost have to
that.
Yeah, well, at least they have a star for their bagger. I mean, if they're able to hold on to it, we did see someone with the bill, of course, that does increase the opportunity to pull Lightning Bolt, but that does so for both 9th and 10th place. So curious also who's in 9th place right now for Denmark.
There's a blue in the air, if I saw that correctly. So you've got Ireland in 3-4, yeah, and then there's the blue that hits. Gets him on the conveyor belt though, so damage not too bad. Oh, there it is. Okay, brilliant.
Target shock maybe on Denmark as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is huge for Ireland. That brings them all up. You've got Chéron, you've got LT, and I couldn't make out who was in third.
That's an Irish member, yeah.
I think so, yeah. They just did a complete role reversal. Yeah, it's Roy. So massive shot usage, back greens to hit fourth.
Yeah.
Another blue.
Oh, that might...
Blue comes out, gets shot mid-air.
Yeah.
Oh, nice awareness to slow down a little bit there. Oh, a little bit of an unfortunate play there with the boost panels, but can he make it?
God, how was he in second? How was he in second?
Greens still gets second out of that, barely managing to clinch that top spot.
There was
Bob
no...
was close.
What?
Bob might have gotten second, possibly. He was close. Yeah, see? No, Bob got second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gets him on the line. Ouch.
Okay.
Dermo looking to get up there, but getting redded on the mud. LT flat out missing the boost panel, and then the blue at the end. Just, I felt like the whole race just happened in the last 6 seconds there. Like the rest of it leading up to that moment.
Yeah, I don't know how they held on there, but they did somehow after avoiding the boost pad at, you know, almost as if they were trying. But, you know, a flub here, a flub there from the Shroomless. A blue shell as well. That turned a race that should have been really good for Ireland into something not so much, unfortunately.
It's a shame. DK were literally pulling ahead that race. They had the top 4 break. They just had everything that you want on TF. You just want to get up there and you want to run it. And Ireland managed to turn the tables for themselves with that shock. Brilliant shock. But unfortunately, with the shock, it brings the blues back into play. So that's when the blue went and hit that player. And that just set a domino effect of just complete chaos and destruction, which is really unfortunate. I don't know if they... Possibly using the shock later to dodge them and not going for the target shock. I don't know if the target shock on TF is even that detrimental compared to other shock spots in the game. I don't know how you feel about that.
It's pretty bad to get shocked because it puts you behind the ramp, so you lose a good couple seconds from that.
It's fair, it's fair. Eirik bringing back the curse course, I believe, Eirik, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Seeing it again?
Yeah. And
I get used to this one, buddy.
Yeah, well, I guess our teams really love to see it here. And Ireland maybe, hopefully, trying to get back. I think, from my count, it is a 64-point deficit, of course. Happy to be corrected here. But it's a rather staggering one, especially after Ireland, you know, they've seen some good looks here, but they need to do a lot more work if they want to still qualify for that Group 2, that bracket phase, and they can still do it. Plenty of races left.
If we were to bring the finish line back and these races were about 2.5 laps long, Ireland would be doing so well right now. But unfortunately, that last half of lap 3 on about 3 or 4 of these just hasn't worked in their favour. Although this track, great. They've decided to opt for a running tactic on this one, which is interesting, because I would say this one's a bit more leaning more towards the whole power items, because like you mentioned before, the whole off-road feature of this track, just stars, goldens, bullets, shrooms, completely negate that. So it's a massive catch-up track.
At least they do have, obviously, you know, the bagger to, you know, guarantee. Maybe that's why they're doing it, is because they have that bagger that's better able to guarantee
to hold on to it. Yeah, he doesn't have it yet, as he repeatedly keeps driving off, as you can see on the mini-map, so there's definitely no shock in play at the moment. Curious to see if someone else is holding the bullet, though. That might be what he keeps pulling.
It seems like Denmark, I think, have 3, 4, 5, 6, so a lot of mid-spot. This is perfect for Ireland, if nothing else, because that means they're occupying the bottom 2 spots where they are maybe able, or bottom 3 spots. Actually, I'm not accounting for who might be in 9th. It looks like, yeah, it is Ireland in 8, 9, so they are occupying all the spots that could be having shock. They have the spots that are at top 2, and also all the spots that can get dodges. This is a perfect situation for them.
Possibly. Blue coming out for Ireland right there, but I don't know.
That was from an Ireland member, I'm pretty sure, maybe? I don't know. It might have been CKD.
Not entirely sure, possibly. But yeah, unfortunate for them. They really needed that to not be the case. DK holding up the fort with, I think, 3, 4, 5 at this point.
They've got to be looking for...
3, 4, 5, 6? No, I see Chéron.
Yeah.
Chéron's up there.
Chéron's in 3rd, though. I think it's Denmark in... Oh, wait. No, Ireland in 2, 3.
It's Denmark 1, and then Ireland 2, 3, and then Denmark 4, 5, 6, I think. No. Ooh.
We saw Dermo sneaking in at the line just behind Yasu by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Pretty mixed up spots, although definitely in Denmark's favour.
Denmark definitely pulling ahead on that one.
Yeah.
I'm very interested about the bomb usage from Yasu. We had 2 Irish players in the back there, and like Eirik said, they possibly might have been holding something good, like a golden or a star. Instead of opting to slowly pass and let his teammate go by, to drop the bomb back on that blind first turn, which is almost impossible to avoid, just opts to throw it forward. Could have been more of a game changer for Denmark, but they're already leading the fort quite well. Just a bit of a tough break for Ireland at the moment. I mean, what would you say would be the best opportunity for them, Signal? If you were in Ireland's shoes right now?
Right, if I were playing for Ireland right now, I would really try and pick cannon tracks. That's one thing which they need to take advantage of. If they can get the shark on cannon tracks, they will gain a lot of spots on Denmark from that alone. Also, just like you notice they tried to do it on Sherbetland, like trying to stay at the front alongside them, or trying to get ahead of them. It's not obviously if Denmark are getting the shrooms in the mid pack, there's not much you can do at the end of a race when they just shroom past. They throw a blue maybe, but just having that frontal presence is going to be really crucial for them still in these last few races.
True, definitely true. What would you say, Eirik? I want to hear more about your track selection process. Where you stand?
Yeah, I think at this point, I think I would normally pick whatever, like circuits or whatever at this point. Yeah, I think cannon track is generally the good suggestion. What we are seeing, I believe, from our teammates here is a Mushroom Gorge pick coming out from Ireland, and I think they're going to get it. So
yep, they get it.
That's going to be good for them. It seems like that's one they really prefer. So if that's the case, good on them. We'll see if this pans out for them ultimately. We head into the last Grand Prix here. Of course, we'll be trying to get a score confirmation in these opening times. So I'll leave it to you guys.
We see Bob on a car
for
this last GP. Let's go.
You wish. If you ask, you shall receive. That is how it works. Ireland absolutely going to be needing the lightning on this one. Like, it is a non-factor. They cannot afford to let DK get it, because I honestly think if DK get it, they're just going to run. They're going to run with it, and they're just going to not let Ireland catch up. Because outside of the gap jump at the end of the track, like we're about to watch Yasu do, possibly the spin drift hop, very nice, very clean. There's nowhere else really to catch up on this one. It's just pure run. You're relying on
everything as well. Because obviously with the unfavorable respawns, many people like to call it getting dodged. Yeah, a lot can happen to flip spots at the end of a race on this track. But by the looks of things, it's just going to be Denmark trying to run this up.
And in the meantime, we score confirmed. It's a 44-point differential for Ireland. Certainly something you can come back from. Certainly if you have control of the lightning bolt. We'll see if they're able to manage that here as Ireland moving up.
At the moment, DK all up front. You've got Ireland in, what, 5, 6, 7, possibly. Oh, no, you've got Roy up front there as well. I can see him in the mid-pack, so you've got 2, 5, 6.
Oh, he got sniped, I think, from Denmark member, though. That should be maybe top 3 now.
It is top 3, and in potential red. No, managed to crack it on the turn, so it's fantastic. They're going to need to do something about this lead.
True. Perfect call, I think, for them.
Gold, absolutely.
Golden, no way!
Perfect IM for LT here. If he's
in a good save. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to, yeah.
He did have to.
He did have to.
He did need it. He needed that opportunity.
It doesn't look like he beat Kasper. Was that Kasper on the line there?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he beat him.
It was Kasper on the line. Pulled the absolute beautiful opportunity. Golden in biff after the shock on the left route. Grew in a perfect time to do that, but unfortunately doesn't want to take the risk.
Oh yeah.
They do get 2, 3, 4, but
they win by 1
point.
They win by 1 point only is the thing. You compare that, if they get first place, they get, I think, what, like a 7-point race.
7 point, 6-point swing if you go from second to third.
That you can already know that might come back to bite them. We'll see.
We're gonna pretend that isn't a thing, because no one wants to have to look back and go, if only I'd dropped my banana there, I would have won by 2 points. But
yeah,
definitely, I understand his perspective. Like, he doesn't want to throw it if he'd failed the gap.
Right.
Embarrassingly, that would have been catastrophic and DK would have been ahead. But I feel like in pressing times like this, where you're down 44, you've got 4 races left, you have a shot at first. Like, the shocks just come, there's no PAL. You just got to go for it. You just got to book it.
Giving you the perfect item and you choose to take the safe strat.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Very, like, there's playing safe, which is almost always fine, but then playing a little too safe is what can cost you. And if they lose by 4 points right now, they're gonna look back and think, well, it was pretty much all in that moment where he decided not to take gap.
I mean, you could do that with anything, to be fair. And I mean, 43 points, it's not undoable. Insane fib. I didn't even see it.
Fib.
I couldn't even see it. I didn't even blink. Just poof.
So that
it puts DK right up there, up top. Another run-centric track, this one. Not entirely sure what Ireland would want to do in terms of using the shock here, assuming that they're going for it. You've got Trashy in last, obviously. Pulls the bill.
Ooh, that is a good pull. I know that this track is like one of LT's stronger tracks, so if he can run this bill up to the front, they're in a really good position.
At the same time, it's Denmark in 9th, and Bill does increase their odds of being able to pull the shock. So I wonder how much they might be considering that as we look at Denmark, of course, in 9th. They're chaining in here. Maybe a chance at something good. No, okay, it's going to be a star. So they are good for now, and it looks good for Ireland as long as they can just make sure they get shock is the thing.
Yeah. LT can hold that bill as well, and that's going to be really huge for maybe like just a lap 3 comeback, or maybe even using it late lap 2 if they're able to pull it that early.
Mid spots, I think. Who's up front?
I don't know. It's very mixed right now.
Hard to tell.
It's hard
now
to
we
tell.
see. I think that's Roy at the back. LT in 6th as well. Denmark taking up a lot of mid spots.
There it is.
Bill,
okay.
yeah, it gets all
Bill
of them after item boxes. Also, Yasu didn't get to use their star in time. They had to go back and pick it up from what I'm seeing. So LT in 1st here, and big moves being made for Ireland. This is exactly what they need to happen, and they need to make sure they finish this one off correctly now.
Need no blues. Need them to not pull the blue. Don't want another recreational TF race. So Yasu obviously going to try his best to catch up, try and take out as many of Ireland as possible. Chaining stars not exactly going to cut it. You need to pull some kind of shroom to get up there at the end, especially with the boost panels.
Maybe.
Yeah, DK really occupying the top. There's the boost too late.
Shock comes in!
Shock comes in,
But
dodges
it
Dermo.
moves Dermo. Does it do him enough good?
It's going to be a top 2, 4, 5 for Ireland.
Wow. I don't know who Shock that was, but that ended up being really good for Dermo for sure.
Ooh, I could have been either team Shock because we saw both Yasu and Dermo dodging in the mid-pack.
Massive race. I almost, unfortunately, want to comment that Yasu using his star there potentially put all of his teammate in jeopardy because it looked like it was a game of bowling with him as the ball and all of his teammates as he just went through them one by one. So I'm worried that may have caused the Irish players to be able to catch up and get to the top. But they needed that race. They absolutely
Ireland back into it now. They can squeak a win out of this one.
Yeah, 22 points.
Oh boy.
That's half the point difference, essentially. They were down 43, down only 22 with 2 to go. So all they need now is another race of a similar kind of stature to that one.
Yeah, that one we saw UK and Germany play. Again, let us remind you the implications of this. Denmark is out of it at this point. Ireland have more than an opportunity. They have their last matches versus here, Denmark today, and Latin America, who is also 1-0. If they are able to win this, they are in prime position to be playing their group deciding match later on today. So this is a much needed win for them if they want to be able to move on.
What did Bob vote? Doesn't look like DK Mountain, and he's on Daisy Wildwing.
It is Luigi Circuit is what we're going to see.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting strategy from an all-running team when going against a team that's been getting a lot of the lightnings to just hand them Luigi Circuit, but, I mean, potentially they might...
I think they should, like, Denmark should be sending someone backwards here to cast Island for that shock.
It's like we spoke at the start of the cast before the match started. I said it's all going to come down to how DK adapts, and for most of this game they haven't needed to because they've been able to, snipe the top spots even with these shock usages. But that Coconut Mall race does show that Ireland have what it takes to make comebacks. So you got Ireland opting for a run at this point, which is interesting.
Top 2 held down by Chéron and LT over here. Trashy's just going to try and burn all of his items to pull a shock.
Looks like Yasu trying to slow down and get 9th place with a star there. So just
Roy getting TC'd, Yasu goldening up. Gonna have to try and break those top spots. Not looking like any of Denmark can really get into the top 2 though.
I mean, they're holding up 3, 4,
Blue
5.
The blue comes out. Oh, the mega
they might
from
cancel.
Yasu.
Squash him. Oh, perfect.
They do cancel. They do cancel, and that I don't know. I think that's Ireland shock probably, but they couldn't have known.
Yeah,
it must have been an Ireland shock. You see Dermo coming up in a bill. Perfect for Yasu though.
Denmark occupying first, but we're not going to see exactly how much of Ireland occupied the remaining spots there.
I think that's
LT
Ireland
like
2-3.
maybe.
Yeah, I think we see Dermo and LT coming in 2-3 respectively.
Okay,
Let's see.
right.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 6.
We're living with it. We're staying alive. Ireland says a 7-point race.
7 race.
So, oh my goodness, Eric, I just noticed.
What?
Down 15.
Down 15. Are you kidding?
Going into the final race,
The
down
same
15.
exact point count that we had last time.
This was the exact same circumstance from the previous cast that we were just in with UK versus Germany. Down 15. But we won't go to move you. We won't be seeing that. We've already played that.
Whoa,
Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn. This is going to be an insane race.
Right, you're Denmark. You've got a point lead of 15. All you essentially need is first. You've got someone on a cart. You pick DK Mountain. You pick DK Mountain.
WDYD.
Even Ireland know. Like they want to make it interesting. Like, right, we've got this. We've got Bob on the cart. We've got to do it. But they're opting to go. Yasu with Moo, but he did pick Mario Circuit when the rest of them picked elsewhere. Oh, we'll go with Moo. Okay.
What would Jesus do here? Would Jesus approve of the Moo Meadows? Or is it going to be TK Mountain? It's going to be... Okay, it's got to be TK Mountain.
We get DK Mountain.
It's a cannon track. It's a cannon track. This is
an Ireland track. Honestly, if I was Denmark here, I would contest for the shock. I would send someone backwards because you need to get the shock on a track like this. It's not even negotiable.
If Denmark get first, can Ireland bring this back? That's the question I have to ask. Or is 15 points in first too much of a
good question? Okay, let me do the mental math. It's 15 points in first. It's then for
they need like 2, 3, 4, 5 to be able to do it.
I'll try to figure out the mental math while you guys focus on this one.
Right, so we'll see what's going on. We've got DK occupying most of the mid spots. I'm assuming Ireland's just going to want to front run it up, hope that Trashy pulls onto the shock and manages to dodge them in the cannon to get them that lead. It doesn't look like any of Denmark are opting to contest.
Denmark are just going like head on, just running past them.
Right.
They're occupying a few of the top spots here with Yasu and Chéron. Very fast, clean cut from LT, allowing him to have a Truman first. And he burns it. Okay. Still top 2. Looks like Denmark are going to try and spam their items up to get LT out first here.
So,
fight for first here. First is so powerful.
Just the confirmation, if Denmark does get first, yeah, Ireland cannot win it. They cannot allow Denmark to get first.
Yeah, so first is everything here. This is why they've got LT up front, dropping fibs, and they're using all their shrooms to get up there.
Oh my goodness, that was...
Fib barely misses them.
Oh! So we'll get a perspective from Yasu here, who is the player
both of our perspectives in 1-2. So this is what a beautiful
snipe! My God!
Beautiful off on LT.
Absolutely essential.
Oh, the blue shot comes immediately after.
Okay.
And they fall off.
Right.
Oh, he tanks the blue and falls off the track.
It's okay.
Not good. If Ireland have shock, this is going to be huge for them. We see Dermo failing here.
Denmark top 2.
DK top 2. Obviously, red towards the fib. Possible shock here. No, you've got CKV right behind him, so they can't afford to use that. They're going to hold on to that. LT really needs to get Kasper out first. This is the only hope that they have.
I think Kasper's too far gone. Unless they pull at least one blue and get a shock off on Denmark
They need a target shock here.
Oh no, he connects with the red.
Control.
Mega's out.
Maybe, possibly. Misinput. Did not want that mini.
Wait, they shocked. Wait, was that what?
No, there's no way. That is not a thing. There's no way.
That is not a thing.
Even.
No.
Let's go, Bob.
Oh, Bob coming up. Here comes the red. Will he use the thing to crack it? No.
It's done. It's done. Denmark wraps it up. Ireland not going to be able to clutch it out. I don't know whose shock that was, but I don't know what that input was. Either way, regardless, it doesn't matter. It's Denmark that's going to be able to hold on to first.
The real winner. Top four. Top four. Really to just solidify the dominance.
They had to do it, didn't they? They just had to do it.
The real winner of that one, I want to say, is the DK Mountain Chasm Cut, because it just took out 2 innocent souls on 2 different laps. Absolutely mental there. Really good play from Ireland up until the very end, keeping it close, keeping it clean. Definitely had some deficits and some races that didn't really work out in their favor. Some shock uses that didn't quite maximize the potential, I want to say.
So I think, the earlier shocks that we looked at, definitely really unfortunate. I kind of question the track pick. Like, you've seen Denmark, who have been more than able to hold top spots on their own. I would say, like, if you're being Ireland and doing course select, you kind of have to be honest with yourself. Like, what is the possibility of Denmark being able to outrun you if there's no shocks? I feel like the answer we saw to that through the war was like, yeah, Denmark does a pretty good job at that. So, yeah, it's a cannon course, but it's also very prone to being very front runnable. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's other cannon courses that we hadn't seen yet that I honestly think they had more of a chance on, because the DK Mountain's tight turns and just its blind trapping spots. It's just such a good front run track. So you've also got Maple Treeway, Rainbow Road, and Parkway. And did we see Snowball Cross in that one? I don't think so.
We didn't either. We had all the cannon tracks available.
They had all 5 available, and they went with that one. So I'm not entirely sure if that was the right pick. Denmark, I honestly think Moo Meadows might have even been better for Ireland. They should have just conceded and gone with that one.
Yeah. I think they would have gotten much. Moo Meadows might have gotten much more in their favor in that case.
A lot more, for sure, yeah. But especially for the bagger, right? Because you've got the cow. If you don't get the item, you want to drive into the cow. Keep doing it. So DK weren't looking to contest the shock usage. They were confident. They were like, we don't need to do this. We can just keep running and just keep on rocking with it, and it just worked out in their favor. So
yeah. Well, that'll be that for Ireland, and I think that, I mean, there is the hypothetical of a 3-way tie for them, but I think given the teams and matches left to play, it's looking a lot less likely Ireland have to play. I believe. Sorry, I'm actually not sure what the last match will be to determine that, but either way, it's looking pretty grim for them. We'll have to see, of course, as the day evolves, what that looks like. But we're going to go ahead and take it to a break. Our next match is starting very soon between UK and Norway, the top 2 seeds in Group D, which, of course, there's not going to be any consequence of it, but it will determine the top seed of the group and how the brackets look. This should be a close affair that we're going to see. Thank you for joining us on the cast, guys. I'm not sure if we'll see you next time, but nevertheless, thank you for joining us. And
thank you for coming. Yeah, have fun.
Yeah, we'll be back soon, y'all. Don't go away. More World Cup action to come next.